Seeing his hard work and courage, everyone there became emotional. An officer saw this and immediately ordered the fastest swimmer to bring him back, because black sailors were not allowed to swim in the sea on that American warship. They could only stand and watch the white sailors swim. But this man had openly broken the rules. Realizing the danger, he increased his speed and left the white sailor far behind. The other black sailors standing on the deck began cheering for him. The captain saw all this and, impressed by his swimming and courage, recommended him for the Naval Academy. This is how Carl became the first black student in the academy's history. But as soon as he stepped into the camp, his white fellow sailors began taunting him. On the very first night, an officer deliberately threw water on him and harassed him in the name of drills. He was even attacked with a high-pressure water hose, hoping he would give up on his own. But Carl did not give up. One day during diving practice, a sailor's oxygen hose got stuck and his life was in danger. At that moment, only Carl stepped forward to help. He removed his own oxygen line and gave it to his fellow sailor, saving his life. But the next day, a white sailor was given a medal, even though he had abandoned his fellow sailor. It was clearly unfair, yet Carl said nothing and quietly walked away. His calm behavior made the sailor who received the medal feel ashamed himself. One night before the final test, the officer came to Carl again and tried to convince him to leave the course, but Carl clearly refused. Angry, the officer broke the radio given to him by his father and left after threatening him. The next day, Carl arrived to take the test. As soon as the diving test began, the officer cleverly cut his tool bag, causing all his tools to fall into the sea. All the other students completed their tests and came back up, but Carl stayed below and kept searching for his tools until late at night. Everyone thought he would not come back, so the safety rope was pulled up, but the equipment that came up with the rope was completely attached. Finally, after 9 hours of hard work, Carl completed the test and barely made it back to shore. Seeing him, even the officer became emotional and finally announced that Carl had passed. Carl had successfully completed his training. When he was leaving, he noticed that his broken radio had been repaired. He understood that this was the officer's way of apologizing. Years later, Carl became a senior diver. During a rescue mission, he saved the lives of 2 young divers, but during this, he suffered a serious injury to his thigh. He survived, but lost one of his legs. He was told that he would never be able to dive again. Still, Carl did not give up. He learned that some people had regained their diving qualifications, so he decided to complete his rehabilitation training in 14 weeks. His coach also helped him and began training him personally. Carl continued working hard every day, and finally, the day of the test arrived. To make things even harder for him, the officials brought 400 pounds of heavy diving gear and asked him to walk 12 steps while wearing it. Even for big, strong divers, this was not easy, but Carl began taking 1 step at a time. Despite the pain, he refused to stop. On the 8th step, his prosthetic leg broke. The pain and disappointment were clearly visible on his face, and tears filled his eyes, but his coach stood in front of him and kept encouraging him. Finally, Carl completed the hardest 12 steps of his life.